What's going on YouTube? Sundeep M3 back again with another video. I hope you guys are enjoying the consistent uploads, and I'm about to hit 100 subscribers, so thanks for that. And be sure to keep liking and commenting and subscribing for more content. So in today's video, we're gonna get right into it and discuss the top 5 things that I hate about the G80 M3. Before we get into today's video, I just want to preface by saying these top 5 reasons I'm about to mention are by no means anything that you guys should consider from stopping you to buy this car. They're all pretty minor and just for content purpose, so let's get right into it. Starting with the exterior, the number one reason that I hate this car is the brake dust. You just look at all of the wheel, it's coated in literally like a brown dust coating. As you can see, I didn't have this car washed recently, so I could show you guys that purpose before getting it done this weekend. So you can see everything's caked on really bad, just doesn't look good. And to top it off, that these wheels are extremely hard to clean, the 826M wheels. You can see how many spokes and just going in depth everywhere. It's really complicated. These brake pads that BMW provide, they're good, really good stopping power for braking, but just the aesthetic look, it just really bothers me. It just ruins the look of the car. So what a lot of guys on the forums end up doing is they purchase brake pads from other companies like EBC or iSweep, I believe. So those pads reduce the brake dust by like anywhere from 25 to about 50% difference. So maybe down the line I'll consider getting that, but right now my pads are still in really good condition, so there's no need to change them, even though it bothers me. You can also get them ceramic coated and things like that to help a little bit, but that honestly doesn't help as much as I've heard in other things. In my previous F80 I had ceramic brakes. Those made such a big difference. You could drive the car for like hundreds and thousands of miles and literally have nothing this bad. Another issue with the brakes, while we're on the topic of carbon ceramics from my previous F80, is these brakes squeal so much, it's crazy. Whenever you're pulling to a stop sign or a traffic light, they just squeal. I don't know if it has to do because they're cold right now, or do you need to warm them up more and drive it harder? Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that. And the last thing about the brakes is, as you can see, the black calipers I have, the fronts look pretty good, like painted nicely. But making our way back to the rear, you can see first the calipers are super small, but the coating also looks like they're kind of done by like a rattle can by BMW, kind of not as smooth finished, nothing like that, as you can see right there. It just doesn't look like it's a premium quality feature from these cars, so I don't know why that is. Moving on to the second issue of why I hate the G80 is the oil cooler guard. As you guys probably saw in my previous video, sits horizontally right across the lower bumper right there. So that's prone to rocks, any debris that you run over, things like that. And if you hit that, it could puncture your cooler and possibly leak out all the oil and seize your engine if you don't stop in time, and cause up to a lot of damages. Someone in the subscribers recently had an X4M about last year, and they ran over a piece of fencing, and that costed $40,000. So I didn't know it impacts the X4M as well, but I guess since they all have the S58 motor, they share the same oil cooler placement. So that's definitely something that bothers me, and to prevent that, I did the Zunsport oil cooler guard, and now I have some peace of mind for that. So the next few issues I'm gonna get into are all in the interior, so let's jump in and I'll explain those. So the number 3 reason, you guys can't really see, but they're under the seats, are the speakers. The speakers, mainly the subwoofers, they just don't produce as much bass as the Harman Kardon did in F80s and my previous Tesla Model Y Performance. You don't get that feeling of the boom and bass, treble, nothing like that. They just, for being Harman Kardon, they don't really sound that good. I don't know why like BMW cut corners on that to save money, but they're just not premium quality speakers you would expect from this company or this car. So in my previous G80, I did the BAV Sound underseat Ghost subs, the V1 I believe. They did make a decent difference when you increase the volume to above 60-70%. You could feel a little bit more, but honestly I think this car needs a whole redesign in the speakers. A lot of people on the forums and Facebook groups end up using the Technic adapter and installing an aftermarket sub or just swapping out speakers and doing other things to help. But why should you have to do all that work just for something that should be there from stock? So that's my third thing. The fourth thing, if we hop right in, as you guys can see, if we open this cubby, is the wireless charger. I'm using my phone right now to record, so I can't really show you guys, but the problem with the wireless charger is when you're connected to CarPlay using Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, whatever maps, and using Spotify or Apple Music, the problem is the phone just gets so hot and overheats. Sometimes people in the forums and groups have mentioned that they get the warning on their phone. So I don't know why this wireless charger specifically causes issues for these phones. I'd rarely charge my phone in the car. I just leave it placed there sometimes just for getting it out of the way, since you don't really have any other storage besides cup holders or the center. There is a USB-A port right there with a cigarette lighter, so if you want to charge your phone, you can do that. And there's also a USB-C port right here, which I have my flash drive with some music on it. So those are other options, obviously, for charging, but the real issue is why can't the wireless charger just be satisfactory and work? The fifth and final thing I dislike about the G80 M3 is the M1 and M2 modes, having to do with the heads-up display and screen right here. So I'm going to use the key card to start my car. I forgot my key, and using the phone to record. So if we start it on right up, not really sure if you guys can see the heads-up display there a little bit. So right now we're just in default driving mode. We're not selected in M1 or M2. On the previous F80 generation cars, when you select M1 or M2, it could change the actual screen right here and the heads-up display cluster. So currently I just pressed the M2 and MDMs off. So now I'll just go back to default. But if you want to get that change done, you have to go over to the center console right there and press the M mode. So once you press the M mode, you can see the difference right there. The gauge cluster here changes and it goes into sport mode and turns off all the safety features. But then if you press the M2 mode here, it just goes into M2, and then there's no difference in that. But why can't they just make it where you don't have to press the M mode here and you could just change the modes right here and then that'll flip it? See, if I press it back here on the center console right down there, it changes back. So basically you have to go into M2 and then press this to go into the sport mode. So it's kind of two steps. I did see this one forum member post this AliExpress adapter that kind of emulates the system and does something with the wiring and coding and ends up changing the settings when you do press this. So that's something maybe to consider down the road, or hopefully someone can else figure out how to code it. And these are the top 5 reasons why I dislike the G80 M3. Comment down below if you have any other reasons, if you're owners of this car or any G-Series chassis, maybe they share same issues. They're all pretty minor, like I said in the beginning, so don't let it deter you from getting this car. Still really awesome, just minor stuff like that. Let me know in my next video. I'll make a top 5 reasons of what I love about the car. I mean, there's so many reasons, but I'll try to narrow it down. BMW M3 out.